One day, in a quiet library, a young girl stumbled upon an old, forgotten storybook. She traced her fingers over the golden letters on the cover, feeling a sense of wonder. As she opened the book, a faint glow began to shine from the pages. Soft, swirling dust rose from the pages, like a spell coming to life. The girl leaned closer, her heart racing as she was drawn in by the light. The glow intensified, making her feel as though the book was alive. To her surprise, tendrils of light reached out from the book, wrapping around her. Her hair lifted in a magical breeze, caught up in the enchantment. She tried to push the book away, but the light held her in place. The world around her blurred as she was pulled closer and closer to the book. She clung to the book, shock and excitement mingling on her face. In a flash of light, she began to vanish, as if absorbed into the pages. And then, only the open book remained, glowing softly on the floor. The girl appeared in a magical forest, surrounded by towering trees and bright colors. She took a cautious step, eyes wide as she admired the glowing flowers. A rabbit hopped by, glancing curiously at her. Unable to resist, she began to follow the rabbit deeper into the forest. She brushed past a tree covered in sparkling vines that seemed to hum with magic. Suddenly, a fairy with delicate wings fluttered down in front of her. The girl reached out, captivated by the tiny, shimmering creature. The fairy beckoned her, inviting her to follow down a hidden path. She entered a clearing filled with floating lanterns that glowed softly in the dusk. She gasped, watching as the lanterns drifted up into the night sky. Peering into a crystal-clear pond, she saw her reflection shimmering back at her. She touched the water, and the ripples turned into tiny, sparkling lights. The rabbit reappeared, signaling for her to continue following. She climbed over a fallen log, feeling a thrill of adventure as she pursued it. In awe, she found herself in a field of mushrooms, each one glowing softly. The mushrooms' glow intensified as she stepped closer to them. Looking up, she saw the leaves above her shimmering with a magical light. An owl with wise eyes landed on a branch, observing her quietly. She smiled and waved gently at the owl, feeling at home in this magical place. In the distance, she heard singing, a sound both beautiful and strange. The fairy returned, guiding her further along the enchanted path. They reached a gentle waterfall surrounded by wild flowers that glowed. She dipped her hand in the water, feeling its warmth and energy. From the corner of her eye, she saw shadowy figures moving among the trees. Curiosity sparked in her eyes as she decided to follow these mysterious figures. She met a talking fox with a wise expression, who greeted her warmly. The fox told her a riddle, making her laugh with delight. A gentle giant with tree-like features extended a hand to her. With amazement, she climbed onto his hand, feeling tiny and safe. The giant lifted her high, giving her a breathtaking view of the vast forest. In the distance, she saw a rainbow bridge arching across the forest canopy. The fox nudged her playfully, urging her to cross the bridge. She stepped onto the bridge, marveling at the colors shimmering beneath her. Reaching the other side, she spotted a small, magical village. Magical creatures in the village welcomed her with friendly waves. She met a tiny, bearded gnome, who gave her a flower with a grin. With a smile, she placed the flower in her hair, feeling like she belonged. She joined other children, playing with stones that floated in mid-air. She tossed a glowing stone, laughing as it hovered before her. A musician began to play an enchanting tune, filling the air with magic. Swaying to the music, she closed her eyes, smiling with wonder. A fairy child laughed with her, sharing a moment of pure joy. The fox whispered that even more adventure awaited her deeper in the forest. Excited, she looked toward the trees, eager to explore the unknown. The fox showed her a map that pointed to a hidden treasure deep in the forest. She studied the map, determination lighting up her face. With a brave heart, she set off along a winding path, guided by the fox. They crossed a misty meadow, the air filled with glowing fireflies. Fireflies landed on her hand, their tiny lights making her smile. They came to a calm lake, stepping onto floating stones to cross. The fox warned her to be careful, hinting at hidden dangers. She glanced at her reflection in the water, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Shadows stirred beneath the lake's surface, making her move quickly. Ahead of them was the entrance to a dark, narrow cave. She hesitated, then gathered her courage and stepped into the cave. Inside, the walls sparkled with crystals that lit their way. She reached out, touching a crystal that glowed even brighter at her touch. The fox led her further, guiding her through the cave's winding paths. Ancient symbols lined the walls, each one whispering forgotten secrets. She examined the symbols, wondering what mysteries they held. In the dim light, she spotted a hidden door with a faint glow. With a gentle push, she opened the door, revealing a treasure room. Her eyes widened as she stepped inside, surrounded by golden treasures. At the center, a small glowing locket rested on a pedestal. She picked up the locket, feeling warmth radiate from it. The fox explained that the locket held the heart of the forest's magic. With awe, she placed the locket around her neck, feeling a rush of power. The new energy filled her with courage and a sense of purpose. Smiling, she felt ready for anything, as if she belonged to this world. The fox urged her to hurry, sensing something was about to happen. The cave began to rumble as if it were alive, shaking the ground beneath her. Clutching the locket, she ran toward the exit with all her strength. The cave's entrance collapsed just as she made it outside, safe. She looked back at the cave, feeling a rush of relief and excitement. The fox guided her back to the village, where her friends waited to say goodbye. She hugged the fox, grateful for his friendship and guidance. In the village center, a shimmering portal opened, calling her home. The villagers gathered around, waving and cheering her on. With a smile, she waved back, touched by their kindness. She took a step toward the portal, looking back one last time. The fairy placed a flower crown on her head, a gift of friendship. A final glance at her friends, and she stepped into the portal. Her vision blurred, surrounded by light as the world faded. Slowly, she returned to the library, appearing beside the enchanted book. She looked around, realizing she was back in the real world. The golden letters on the book's cover shimmered as she closed it. She hugged the book to her chest, smiling at her incredible journey. As she walked through the library, she felt changed, as if magic lingered. She glanced at the shelves, wondering if every book held a hidden world. Soft glows seemed to wink from other books, sparking her curiosity. She reached for a book, but stopped, content with her recent adventure. Closing her eyes, she reflected on her magical journey. She thanked the librarian, who gave her a mysterious wink. With the locket hidden beneath her dress, she left the library. A faint glow peeked from under her dress as she walked. She stepped into the sunlight outside, eyes filled with wonder. The girl walked away, her spirit alive with magic and mystery.